Have you ever wondered why the Bhagavad Gita, an eternal source of wisdom, begins not with teachings, but with a broken mind? Why is the first chapter filled with tears, confusion, and compassion in the middle of a roaring battlefield? On the battlefield of Kurukshetra, millions of warriors stood ready. Conches had already sounded. Victory seemed only a moment away. But then, the world's greatest archer, Arjuna, lowers his bow. What happened at that moment? Today, we will understand the deep and powerful meaning of Bhagavad Gita Chapter 1, Arjuna Vishada Yoga. You will realize that this is not only Arjuna's story, it is the story of all of us. Watch till the end, and if you love Sanatan Dharma, Gita wisdom, and spiritual stories, subscribe to the channel and join this sacred journey. First, let us offer a small prayer that just as this divine wisdom was given to Arjuna, may we also receive it. Just as Lord Krishna removed Arjuna's confusion and guided him toward truth and righteousness, may he also remove the darkness from our lives. The meaning and understanding of the Gita will be different for every person, because everyone's Mahabharata in life is different. Everyone's struggles are different, and that is why each person will find a unique message for their own life within it. O Lord Krishna, just as you removed Arjuna's confusion on the battlefield of Kurukshetra and guided him toward truth, righteousness, and self-realization, in the same way please remove ignorance, fear from the lives of everyone listening to this Gita discourse today. Fill their hearts with peace, wisdom, courage, and the strength to walk on the right path. Lord, by your grace, may we all receive the true knowledge of the Gita, and may our lives be filled with light. Jai Shri Krishna. Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Very detailed, emotional, and easy to understand. The real importance of Chapter 1. Many people think the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita is only an introduction to the war. But anyone who understands deeply knows that this chapter is the doorway to the entire Gita. Why? Because until questions arise within a person, until confusion shakes the mind, until the pain of life touches the heart, true wisdom cannot be received. That is why the Gita begins not with victory, but with sorrow. The Kuru dynasty had two branches, sons of Pandu, the Pandavas, sons of Dhritarashtra, the Kauravas. Dhritarashtra was blind from birth. His son Duryodhan was filled with pride, jealousy, and greed. The Pandavas were righteous, brave, and just. Yudhishthir loved truth. Bhima was powerful. Arjuna was the greatest warrior, and Nakula Sahadev were wise and noble. Duryodhan could not tolerate the greatness of the Pandavas, so he arranged a deceitful game of dice. The Pandavas lost their kingdom. Draupadi was insulted. They were sent into exile. Even after completing exile, when the Pandavas asked for only 5 villages, Duryodhan said, "I will not give them land equal to the tip of a needle." At that point, war became unavoidable. Why was Kurukshetra chosen? Kurukshetra was not ordinary land. It was called Dharma Bhumi, the land of righteousness. It is believed that many sages performed penance there. Gods performed sacred rituals there. The energy of truth and dharma existed in that land. That is why the war had to happen there, because the end of injustice was fitting only on holy ground. The first verse is famous. Dharma kshetre Kurukshetra samaveta yuyutsava. Mamankaha Pandavs chaiva kim akurvata Sanjay. Dhritarashtra asks, O Sanjay, gathered on the holy land of Kurukshetra, ready for war? What did my sons and the sons of Pandu do? 2 things matter here. 1. My sons. He calls only the Kauravas his own. He does not treat the Pandavas as family. This favoritism became the cause of destruction. 2. Fear of holy ground. He feared that the holy land might change his sons' minds, or that righteousness might give victory to the Pandavas. This was not just curiosity. It was the fear of a worried father and a blind king. Who was Sanjay? Sanjay was the charioteer and advisor of Dhritarashtra. Sage Vyas gave him divine vision. He could see every event of the battlefield while sitting in Hastinapur. Its symbolic meaning, even when outer eyes are closed, inner vision can still see truth. Description of both armies. Two mighty armies stood in Kurukshetra. Kaurva side, Bhishma, Dronacharya, Karna, Kripacharya, Ashwathama, Shakuni, Jayadratha, Duryodhan and his brothers. Pandav side, Yudhishthir, Bhima, Arjuna, Nakula, Sahadev, Lord Krishna as charioteer, Drupad, Dhrishtadyumna, Abhimanyu, Satyaki, Shikhandi. This was not just a war of armies, it was a war of relationships. Teacher against student, grandfather against grandson, friend against friend. When Duryodhan saw the Pandav army, he went straight to Dronacharya. He said, "Master, look at the great army of the sons of Pandu, arranged by your intelligent disciple Dhrishtadyumna." He was being clever. He reminded Drona that his own student now stood against him. He wanted to increase the intensity of battle. This was politics. Outwardly, he looked confident, but inside he was afraid. An unjust person, no matter how powerful, fears truth. That is why he kept naming his warriors and praising his army, as if trying to convince himself, "We will win." Seeing Duryodhan's worry, Bhishma blew his conch like a lion's roar. It meant, the war begins now. Bhishma was old, yet radiant and powerful. He stood with the Kauravas because of his vow to the throne of Hastinapur. His life teaches that sometimes even great people stand on the wrong side because duty can become complicated. After Bhishma, conches, drums, trumpets, and war instruments sounded everywhere. The earth trembled, the sky echoed. Then Krishna and Arjuna also blew their divine conches. Main conches: Krishna, Panchjanya; Arjuna, Devdatta; Bhima, Pondra; Yudhishthir, Anantavijaya; Nakula, Sughosha; Sahadev, Mani Pushpaka. Even these names symbolize victory, eternity, goodness, and righteousness. Arjuna said to Krishna, "O Achyut, place my chariot between the two armies." At this moment, Arjuna was still strong and ready. He wanted to inspect the enemy, but he did not know that in a few moments, his heart would change. Where Krishna stops the chariot, Krishna stopped the chariot in front of Bhishma and Drona. This is deeply meaningful. If the chariot had stopped elsewhere, Arjuna may not have broken down. But Krishna placed him before the two people he loved and respected most: grandfather Bhishma, Guru Drona. Why? Because until attachment comes face to face, wisdom does not arise. Arjuna saw grandfather, teachers, brothers, uncles, sons, grandsons, friends, in-laws, well-wishers. Suddenly the battlefield was no longer an enemy army. It had become family. And that is when Arjuna's heart began to break. Arjuna says, "My limbs are weakening, my mouth is drying, my body is trembling, my hair stands on end, my bow is slipping from my hand, my skin burns, I cannot stand steady." In modern language, this reflects panic, emotional shock, and mental stress. The Gita shows that even the greatest warriors can struggle mentally. Gandiva, Arjuna's bow, was his identity. When it loosened in his hand, it meant before the warrior fell, the mind had already fallen. If the mind loses, weapons become useless. 1. I do not want victory. O Krishna, I do not want kingdom, pleasure, or victory. Why? Because those for whom he wanted them were standing ready to die. 2. Killing elders is sin. How can I shoot arrows at Drona and Bhishma? This was not only relationship, it was reverence. 3. They're blinded by greed. They cannot see dharma because of greed, but we should know better. 4. Family will be destroyed. Men will die. Families will break. Traditions will disappear. Society will decline. 5. We will gain only guilt. What joy can come from such a war? Arjuna's greatest mistake. Arjuna's compassion was real, but at that moment, it was compassion confused by duty. Because those standing before him were not only relatives, they were supporters of injustice. Sometimes kindness and weakness look the same, but they are not the same. Why is it called Vishada Yoga? How can sorrow become yoga? Because this sorrow brought Arjuna to Krishna. As long as a person lives in ego, wisdom is not heard. But when one breaks down, one asks, "What should I do now?" That question becomes the beginning of yoga. Arjuna in modern life. Even today people become Arjuna. Should I leave my job or tolerate it? Should I speak truth or stay silent? Should I save family peace or self-respect? Should I choose the right path or the easy one? Whenever decisions become difficult, hands tremble and mind becomes confused. Every person stands in their own Kurukshetra. Why Krishna remained silent? In chapter 1, Krishna does not immediately give a long teaching. He listens. This is a great lesson. First let the troubled heart speak, then give wisdom. Until the mind empties itself, wisdom cannot stay. Hidden lessons of chapter 1. 1. Crisis is not weakness. Sometimes breaking down is the beginning of awakening. 2. Emotion and dharma are different. Not every form of pity is right. 3. Confusion comes before big decisions. The mind creates excuses. 4. Importance of a guide. When intellect is confused, guidance is needed. 5. The inner war comes first. Arjuna was losing within before the outer war began. Symbolic meaning: Dhritarashtra is equal to blind ego. Duryodhan is equal to greed and jealousy. Arjuna is equal to sensitive soul. Krishna is equal to divine wisdom. Kurukshetra is equal to field of life. War is equal to battle between right and wrong. At the end, Arjuna sits in the chariot. He drops his bow. He is filled with sorrow. The chapter ends there. From the outside, Arjuna seemed defeated. But in truth, his victory began there. Because the one who admits, "I am confused," becomes ready to learn. Summary of chapter 1. When the mind breaks, do not run. Stay there. Truth will come. When decisions become hard, do not panic. The Krishna within will guide you. When life becomes a battlefield, remember, in every Kurukshetra, a Gita can be born. Why is Arjun's melancholy important? Arjuna's melancholy is not a weakness, but a yuga unless the old beliefs within us are broken. New knowledge cannot enter. Arjuna's fascination is leading him towards the truth that will turn him from ego to spirituality. An inspirational poem, The Duel of the Battlefield. Arjun was standing in the middle of the meeting. There was a lot of doubt in his mind. They were standing in front of themselves. Was it a victory? Gandhi was slipping out of hand. There was a stream of water in the Nayans. The one who had to win the world lost by himself. Oh my Kesh, this bloody pleasure, I don't like it at all. By climbing on the corpses of our own, do you get the throne? Leave the weapon. Break this relationship. I will turn my face away from the battle. I will ask for alms, but I will not leave my own. Then Murari laughed softly, said, Parth, you sleep. What is not true? What is not eternal? You cry after it. Stand up, O Gandhi. This is not love, it is duty. Defense of religion is the only destination of life. If you want to understand this profound philosophy of the Gita in simple language and want to solve the confusions of your life, then join us now. Subscribe to our channel Bhakt Gens so that the detailed explanation of the next chapters and the precious teachings of Shri Krishna reach you first.